So, hello everyone, how are you all? Can you see me and hear me clearly? Hey guys, I hope that I am clearly audible and visible, and welcome to your very first history session for CBSE 10 SST. I am very excited for today's session. I hope all of you are. And I got late since I was having my dinner. So I'm 9 minutes late, but let's not talk about that. Today we'll be starting with a new chapter, and the name of the chapter is The Rise of Nationalism in Europe, Part 1. Let me just check if I'm audible. Yeah, I think that I am. You are able to see me. So the chapter that we will be doing today is The Rise of Nationalism in Europe, a very important chapter. Okay, so let's not waste further time and let's get started. So today is our session 1, in which we will be covering some of the important concepts. Okay, so let's have a look at our agenda. So what are we going to cover today is number 1, the introduction. I'll be introducing you with today's chapter. Then the French Revolution and idea of the nation we will be doing, and Menti quiz that has been cancelled for now. Sorry for that. I was not expecting to cancel the Menti quiz, but sometimes it happens that I become busy, so that's why I couldn't keep the Menti quiz. But that shouldn't matter to you. You should be able to study properly and boost up your confidence, right? Okay, now let's have the basic introduction with this chapter. So in your NCERT, the chapter gets introduced with an artist. Okay, a painting of an artist, and the name of that artist is Frederick Sorio. And what that artist does, that we will be understanding. So this is the image you are able to see over here. So this is the image of that painting. One second. Which is given in your NCERT page 1. If you would open your NCERT, you would be able to see. And the name of the figure is written, The Dream of Worldwide Democratic and Social Republics, the Pact Between Nations, print prepared by Frederick Sorio in 1848. Now let's try to understand what was this painting all about and who is this Frederick Sorio. So first of all, class, understand Frederick Sorio is a French artist. Okay, he is an artist and his nationality is French. You have to remember this. Just a second, let me change my color. Yeah, so he is a French artist, remember. And in 1848, he prepared a series of 4 prints visualizing his dream of a world made up of democratic and social republics. So what he visualized, he thought something of a world. He had a dream of a world which was made up of democratic and social republics. Okay, a world which is having democracy and like republic, like for example our own India, right? How many of you agree to this? Is my camera not clear? Okay, fine. So this was the first thing. Now the first print of the series shows the peoples of Europe and America, men and women of all ages and social classes, marching in a long train and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by it. So the first print, actually it is a series of 4 prints, but we will be focusing on one print. Okay, and in that first print, men and women of all ages were marching, okay, in a long train, and they were offering homage to the Statue of Liberty. And you know that a female figure represents Statue of Liberty, as we can see over here. But then why? Now the Statue of Liberty holds the torch of enlightenment in one hand and the Charter of the Rights of Man in the other. So as you're able to see, this is one of the things and this is one of the things. This is the torch of enlightenment, remember, torch of enlightenment. Okay, in one hand, and in the other hand she holds the charter of the rights of a man. Is this clear? Okay, it's super duper clear to all of you. Thank you so much. Okay, on the earth in the foreground of the image lie the shattered remains of the symbols of absolutist institutions, which means it is going to depict, one second, let me change my color, the end of conservatism. Okay, the end of your monarchy. Your monarchy is going to end. Right, that's why they've been shattered. Shattered remains of the symbols of absolutist institutions. Symbolizes end of monarchy and establishment of democracy. So now democracy was established in Europe. So this was a dream. Okay, what was the dream? Saying, say, first world made up of democratic and social republics. Then also we come to know about the Statue of Liberty, right? We also understand about the Statue of Liberty, and then we talk about the Statue of Liberty, what is it holding, and then this end of monarchy and establishment of a democracy. Now, what was Sorio's utopian vision? That the peoples of the world are grouped as distinct nations, identified through their flags and national costumes. So how are people of a nation identified? First of all, through their flags. Through their different flags, they're identified, and their national costume. Okay, through their national costume also they are identified. Okay, this was his vision. What he's thinking, you have to understand that I am preparing you for a 3-marker question, a frequent question from your board exams, right, everyone? Okay, fine. Now it's important that who was leading the procession. 2 of the countries. Which countries were leading, that you should know. Number 1 is your United States and the other is Switzerland. They were the leaders. They were leading the procession, the march. Okay, then after that we have France, identifiable through the tricolor. Now what is the tricolor of France? The tricolor of France is blue, sorry, 1 minute, yeah, blue, white and red, isn't it? This is the tricolor of France. I hope you know about tricolor of the France, right? Okay, fine. After that we had Germany, bearing the black, red and gold flag. So Germany's flag is, this is your France flag, right? This one, blue, okay, blue, white and red. Germany's flag was black, red and gold. These were the colors of Germany's flag. Interestingly, at the time when Sorio created this image, the German peoples did not yet exist as a united nation. So they were not united at that time. The flag they carry is an expression of liberal hopes in 1840 to unify the numerous German-speaking principalities into a nation-state under a democratic constitution. We will be coming to that. What is exactly a nation-state? I will be teaching you that. Okay. About nation state and Germany's flag and etc. etc. Okay, under a democratic constitution. Now, following the German peoples are the peoples of Austria, the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary, and Russia. So these are some of the kingdoms. Now, okay, which were following them? You have to learn their names. Okay, or it's not compulsory, but yeah, you should have a basic idea that what was happening. Okay, from the heavens above, Christ, saints and angels gaze upon the scene. They have been used by the artist to symbolize fraternity among the nations of the world. Fraternity means brotherhood. Like brotherhood was established during that time, and that's why from the heavens above you are able to see Christ, saints and angels are gazing upon the scene. So during the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought about sweeping changes in the political and mental world of Correct. So see, people, nationalism is a feeling. Nationalism is an emotion. It is a feeling. When people end of multinational dynastic emperors of Europe, instead of so democracy was also established. And in the whole chapter, we will be reading the story that how this exactly happened, right? Okay, now let's have a look at modern state versus your nation state. What is the concept of modern state and how is it different from nation state? So modern state, in this what happens, a centralized power exercise sovereign control over a clearly defined territory had been developing over a long period of time. So some centralized power is exercised in the, you can say, a defined territory. Suppose if I have this territory, then a power is exercised over a long period of time in Europe. Then it is said to be modern state. Okay. And what is nation state? In this, majority of its citizens and not only its rulers came together to develop a sense of common identity or shared history or descent. So people started thinking that your ancestors, my ancestors shared the same history. So we are having some kind of relation. We have a common identity because we live in the same country, right? Just a second, because we live in the same country. So the feeling of commonness started developing. Okay, the feeling of commonness, that is very, very important over here. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of the slide as this would help you in memorizing things. Okay, fine. Now let's move ahead. Yeah, this commonness did not exist from time immemorial. It was forged through struggles, through the action of leaders and the common people, because their struggle was the same. They struggled for getting freedom, for the liberty. And now we have to understand how these nation states formed. So this is the story of the formation of nation states through the feeling of nationalism. Okay, how finally nation states were formed in France. Right, everyone, is that clear? Is it clear to everyone or not? Okay, fine. Let's move ahead. Now, moving on to the French Revolution and the idea of the nation. So, as we all know, the people of France were revolutionaries. They were not afraid, and the French Revolution, as you have read in your 9th class, it gave the idea of liberty, equality, and fraternity to the whole Europe. And the whole Europe was influenced by France. Okay, the whole Europe was influenced by France. So that's why the people, due to the French Revolution also, they started believing in nationalism. But how this happened? Now just concentrate over here. France was the first clear expression of nationalism because people revolted for getting the nationalism. The French people were the revolutionaries. In 1789, France was a full-fledged territorial state under the rule of a monarch. As you have read in your lower grades, what was the name of the monarch? It was Louis XVI. Okay, you must have read, remember this. Now, political and constitutional changes led to transfer of sovereignty from monarchy to a body of French citizens. Now, you know that a new National Assembly was formed and the political and constitutional changes were also made so that the power can be shifted from a monarchy to a king to the body of French citizens, and which would establish democracy in France. And what was the moral of this? It is the will of people who will constitute the nation and shape its destiny. So people are going to have the power. This was the moral. No monarch can stop the people from revolting against, because people are strong to revolt, right? Now you'll be asking me that how this happened that people of France established a collective identity. Okay, so there were many steps. Now, number one, the idea of la patrie, fatherland, and le citoyen. So they started thinking that we are the citizens of this country and this land is our fatherland. La patrie, le citoyen, right? And then there must be a connection between us and the land. That's why this identity was made. Now, second, French flag instead of former royal flag. So the new French flag was also there in France, right? Which was taken. Now, formation of National Assembly, the Estates General. So a new National Assembly was formed, which united the people. Centralized administrative system was there. Also abolished internal custom duties and dues, which were the taxes, I would say. So the taxes were abolished, because of which people felt very happy and relieved. Adoption of uniform weights and measures, right? So weights and measures were same throughout the country. In every city, the weights, the you can say the kilogram, the weighing machine wasn't different. It was the same. But one bad thing was there, that the regional dialects were discouraged and French became the common language of the people, because they thought that if we want to become a single nation, we should have a common language. Okay, so because of that, the regional dialects were neglected, discouraged, and French was, you can say, French was the only language that they established, okay, which they imposed on the people. New hymns were composed and oaths were taken in the name of nation. So because of this, an identity was getting established. Is this concept clear? Is it so? Okay, people are saying yes, that's awesome. So let's move ahead now, moving to the spread of nationalism, that how nationalism spread. Now, the French revolutionaries went on this mission of freeing people of Europe from despotism, and thus the news of the events in France soon reached to different cities of Europe. So, see, you can learn it in the form of this flowchart. From France, it reached to different places like England, Holland, Italy, and many other nations. And also the Jacobin Club became a force. We read about Jacobin Club, yes, which was led by the middle class people. Okay, we read in class 9 French Revolution. Try to recall everyone. I think today people are very busy. You're not watching. I don't know what happened. Now moving to the King of France, who was Napoleon Bonaparte. So very, very important. From this, a 3-marker question is always asked. Like I told you, this is a 3-marker question. This came in your board exams 2016, right? And this Napoleon Bonaparte question will come. Who was this Napoleon Bonaparte? So he was the military dictator of France, and he destroyed democracy in France and established dictatorship. So what he did, you can just learn in this manner. Okay, one second. Yes. Where is the pen? I'm not able to see. Yeah. He destroyed democracy, established dictatorship. DDED. How will you learn DDED? Destroyed democracy, established dictatorship. Destroyed democracy, established dictatorship. Also, he established a Napoleonic Code, which is also known as Civil Code of 1804. What happened in this code? That is very, very important right now. Okay, so what was this Napoleonic Code or Civil Code of 1804? These are some of the features of this code which are very, very important. Just ignore the background noise if it is coming. I don't know what is happening. What happened? Okay. So what happened in the Napoleonic Code? That common national currency was adopted. So the whole nation had the same currency. Right. Then equality before law was established and no privileges by birth. So this was a very good thing. So this, you can say this made the administrative system more efficient. System became more efficient. Okay. Pardon my handwriting. Is this much clear to all of you? I think people have slept. Thank you, Art Arena. Do like the video and share it with all your friends. Okay, so then secured right to property. So people got the right to property, as well as they abolished the feudal system. As you could recall in your class, in class 9 French Revolution, you read about the peasants. What happened with the peasants, if you could recall? The peasants were, can anyone recall what happened with the peasants? Yes, it is actually the connection between the peasants and the nobles, that they had to work for the nobles tirelessly. Okay, and this thing was removed, so peasants became very happy. Then another thing, guild restrictions were removed. Okay, transport and communication system was improved, and whenever the transport and communication system is improved, administrative systems efficiency increases. Okay, is that clear? And standardized weights and measures were adopted. That is a very good point which happened. Weights and measures, and this is a perfect 3-marker question. Please learn this. This will help you in scoring good marks. Perfect 3-marker question, so do remember to learn this. You can take a screenshot for better understanding. Right, everyone? Now coming to the reaction of local people, how the local people of France reacted to this. Now see, initially what happened, countries like Holland, Switzerland, etc. welcomed French armies as harbingers of liberty. So they thought that French armies, because of them we are getting the liberty, harbingers of liberty, they're bringing liberty to us. Okay, so they were very enthusiastic, they were liking Napoleon because of these changes, as we read in the Napoleonic Code. But then this initial enthusiasm, the enthusiasm of the people, the Josh, turned into hostility, now just understand. You can say, like you've read Dust of Snow, in that the poet became from gloomy to happy, right? In Dust of Snow. In this, people became happy to gloomy. Just a second, let me change the color. Okay, they became happy, or initially they were happy, but then they became gloomy, right? This you have to understand. Okay, but what was the reason behind it? Number one, increased taxation. The different taxes were increased. Censorship. What is censorship? Suppression of your expression. You cannot go to the media and say anything. You have to be, and you cannot express yourself in front of the government. You have to listen to the government. Forced conscription into French armies. People were forced to be participating in the French armies. And all these disadvantages outweighed the good administrative system. So people started feeling that no, we cannot tolerate such things because of the disadvantages. Is that clear? All right. Okay, so we finished. As I already informed you, your quiz has been cancelled. Why? That also I have talked about, because people are not there today. Right, I'm not able to see even a single person. I think Art Arena and one more person is there. I don't know who. But please, people, attend the sessions. This will be helpful for you only. These sessions are made for you. Right. So in today's session, what did we discuss? See, first of all, we discussed about, let me change the color, okay, blue. We discussed about Frederick Soro. Okay, Frederick Soro, this French artist. Point number one. Then you have to learn about French Revolution and how it gave the idea of nation state. See, in Frederick Soro's painting, we come to know about nation state. And you can even download the notes, they will be very helpful for you. Right, so idea of the nation, and how did the French people establish collective identity? Here is your answer. So you can just take a screenshot of this as well if you want to study. Okay. Yeah, then what did we discuss? After this, we discussed about the spread of nationalism, how it spread, how people started believing in the formation of nation states and nationalism. Then right now in the slide, you are able to see that we discussed about Napoleon Bonaparte and the Civil Code of 1804, which is very important, as well as the reaction of local people. Now, what will we be doing in the next session is, just a second, making of nationalism in Europe. That how nationalism came into it, how people started developing this feeling. And I think tomorrow I have a session of Europe. Right, we will be discussing in the next session, so you have to attend that. Do not forget to do that. Now, shall I end this session for now so that you all can sleep? Because we should sleep early. Okay, hi Harchar and Jeet. Right, so that you can easily learn, that's not a big deal. Okay, so now thank you so much for attending my session. It's time to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel so that you can get notified. Hi Harcharanjit, how are you? Hi Harcharanjit, I've taken your name. Okay, fine. So what is going to be your homework question for today? You have to tell me what would be your reaction if this happened with you. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. do not forget to like, share and subscribe, because it takes a lot of hard work in making content for you. So I wanted to keep the quiz, but unfortunately I cannot keep. So I have, thank you so much Harcharan for saying that I am explaining the best. Okay, it was just because of you that I could explain in this manner. Okay, so I would just tell you the important part from this, that how to frame the perfect answers. See, some of the tips for scoring full marks in SST can be, if you are learning. Okay, if you're learning everything properly, then you can easily get full mark. But with learning, your presentation should also be equally important. Okay, you should be able to present yourself. That is very important in your examination, because in the examination they are going to ask you that like, if you are a French citizen, how would you establish collective identity? So what points you will write, that will be from the book, but along with the book you have to write your own points, like the value-based questions which are generally asked in your examination. Okay, so can we have the Menti, if you all agree? Can we have